Hey, what's up, people? This is D-Ross, Dwayne-Ross, the author of the book No More Crumbs from the Table. Also, where you can get 30 minutes of free consultation at drossdwayneross.com. I'm so excited today because today is one of those days where I actually took something that I was doing and I wanted to make sure that when I did it effectively. And I went out there and I had talked to people about this idea that I was going to go to New York, right? And I was going to New York to do two things, actually three things. One specifically was to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge. My grandfather worked on the Brooklyn Bridge back in his youth days into his young adult days, and I had saw that on some paperwork when we was looking at some Census Bureau information, and his job was listed as a mason. And then I looked at some of the other work and found that he was working on that bridge. So it was kind of cool to walk across it and kind of get this whole feeling of it, right? But of course, I'm joining with Yolanda Lewis Ragland, who was my guest a couple of weeks back, where she's talking about how we can do better with our health. And one of the things she talked about that to do better with our health is to move, right? And then she said to drink some good pH balanced water. And then, of course, get out there and be involved in your community when it comes to voting, and definitely be involved with your local governance, right? So it was exciting to do that. And then the second thing happened is she had walked around when she was down doing some work in Harlem. She decided she was going to walk at the Central Park. Well, then she decided to walk around Central Park. And I remember sending a message to her. And I'm like, girl, you walked around the whole Central Park? She said, yeah, it's like 6 and change miles. And, we're doing a million steps together. And I said, well, tell me more about that. And I decided to join that. And so today I also decided to not only walk over the bridge, but walk all the way around Central Park. And so here's the thing, though. I was telling you guys that, listen, if you have this vision, you want to, put that thing into action, right? You got to execute. And if you have a dream, you got to execute, because you can have a dream, you can have a vision, you can have all this stuff that you think about. But if you're not putting any action plans together, you're not taking any steps toward that, you're just going to be dreaming, and that's it. You're going to just wake up and do the same thing every day, every day, every day. Now, today, as I said before, I have a self-publishing course that I've been working on, and an actual program in a business that I just birthed not too long ago. I put out a lot of information, and then I got 3 clients. Now, the 3 clients that I had surprised me because I gave them 3 tiers on order and how they should do business. And they chose the top tier and the mid tier instead of the bottom tier, because I was thinking people are not going to want to pay what my coach said I should be paying, because I was devaluing my business for the longest. I was giving away free information. And even when I was getting paid by the school's only paying me $35 an hour. And that's like peanuts for the time that I take to give people that walk through, to give them, put my hand in their hand and walk them through the process. And I found out that my coaching is like worth $250 an hour in that market. Now, in other markets, it's worth more than that, because I could do a coaching program and actually get paid thousands of dollars, right? So here's the deal. Coaching is a key to many people's success. Let me say that again. Coaching is a major key for your success. So today, I got another guest for you that's on fire. This young lady right here, we met a year ago more, where she is the author of this book, No More Flinching. And you guys saw me do an interview, if you've been riding with me a little bit, where she actually invited me on her show. And I said, one day I'm going to invite you back to my show. Well, that one day is now. That one day is here. That one day is today, where I have no other than Miss Carlotta Franks, who is she is on fire, you guys. She is a author, entrepreneur, CEO. She's going to talk to you. She started her own nonprofit organization, and it's a major organization helping people understand that, have you ever thought, man, I'm having this challenge, somebody needs to help? Well, she's got the somebody step in organization. She's going to talk to you about that and how that came to be. But before she does that, she's just going to explain a little bit more about who she is, why she's here. And she's over here in Carlotta. I'm just going to ask you to just talk a little bit, share a little bit, tell us who you are and why you decided to come along for the ride with me when it comes to this Passion to Profits TV.
Well, first of all, let me just say I am so honored to be here. Thank you, Dwayne-Ross. I mean, the reason why I'm here because you asked, and if anything Dwayne asked, I'm there. Okay, wherever you say, Dwayne, let's go, let's go. You're like a brother to me, especially with our familiar past. And just a little about me. Of course, I am a published author by the grace of God. I have about 15 years of law enforcement experience, and I'm on a journey. I'm on a journey to better myself, to continue to stretch myself, to continue to reach back and help as many people along the way as possible, and just to continue to improve and impact the lives of others. So that's pretty the gist about me, and I'm just getting started.
Hey, that journey, that's something that we talk about. Many people start a journey, but they don't understand like what steps they need to take to be successful in that journey. They just start walking, they just start going. And
Yeah.
what you were able to do is actually take something that we shared. Both of us been in a situation where we had a foster care situation impact us in a negative way. But what you were able to do is take that negative and turn it into a positive, and then you put that in a book.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, get it out of your head, out of your heart, and into a book, because that way it could be in the hands of someone who you can empower them with their life, with your life story. Everybody has this transformational story. And if you have one, you should tell us. So tell us, Carlotta, how that came to be and what you did in order to change lives and rearrange things for the good.
Wow. So that's a big question, but I do not mind answering it all. How No More Flinching came to be. No More Flinching is the title of my book. And it's also equipped with 5 steps to overcome adversity. And for a long time, it was something I kind of held on to. The first time I remember sharing my story was in 12th grade. Shout out to Waukesha Mason and Tomise Lanier. Those were my only 2 friends in high school, you all. I used to get bullied. I was beaten. I was mistreated. I was in and out of foster care, in and out of shelters, tried to commit suicide at age 12. And I remember the first time I shared it was with my 2 friends in 12th grade, and they were there for me. We was in a circle. I will never forget that huddle, and we were all crying. They could not believe that I had went through those things, and so I knew then something was going to happen. One day it would circle all around, and one day it would make sense. And so as I continued on through life, trying to figure things out, come on now, being a young Black woman, a young Black girl, without the proper guidance of a father, and without just having that close knit family, not understanding what family is for, and just having no clue about life, period. Trying to figure things out on my own. I went through a lot of just trying to figure it out. And I went through several different jobs. I know all about trying to work here, work there. It wasn't until I found law enforcement, or law enforcement found me, that I felt like I was on my path, on my journey. And so I began to excel in law enforcement. I went from being a police officer to a child protection detective. Imagine being the detective who once used to be that kid that was in foster care getting abused, to now being the detective to investigate cases where children were abused and things of that nature. And then I went on to thrive as a homicide detective, and then went on to be a federal officer, and just kept going through those ranks. Went from being a quitter in everything I did, never really wrapping my mind around finishing college, getting the college degree because I didn't think I was good enough back then, to actually doing it. And I saw that I was making gains in life. Coming from where I come from, normally kids who go in and out of foster care, they're normally written off, the ones often forgotten about, the ones that slip through the cracks. But here I am, God allowing me to continue to thrive in life. And so then it was like, hold on, Carlotta, you have a greater purpose inside of you than just going that path of, your career path of law enforcement. You have a greater purpose inside of you. And so it was in 2018, all along the way, I was being prepped and primed, but in 2018, it was a remarkable thing that happened. I remember like it was yesterday. I was driving down the street, and I remember looking to my left, and I saw a graveyard there, and it just fell in my spirit. Are you going to go there with what I gave you? And at that time, it was at that moment, I was like, I don't need a big accident. I don't need anything major to happen. I don't need to get sick or anything like that. Let me get serious about what I'm here to do, about my purpose, about things that I feel like I was placed on this earth to inspire. So it was at that moment, within about a month, I was able to turn in my 2 weeks notice, walk away from a federal government job, and then I started writing my book, No More Flinching, right here. And I would tell you, it was a journey that took me back. It took me back. I was so engulfed in making sure that the readers could be there right there with me in my process as I was going through what I had to go through, and survived it. That's the key point. It survived by the grace of God. I remember crying tears at night. I remember willing. I remember writing the book and saying, okay, I got to stop here because, I got to catch my breath. And I finally got through it, got it published. It had to be that way. I will never forget. I even have it in the book. So if you read the book, No More Flinching, you will see how it came about that I actually wrote it. So I don't want to spoil the book for you, but it's in the book, okay? And once I got it out there, man, it began the process of the next steps, my next journey. So as soon as the book got published, and then next thing you know, boom, it was, going everywhere. People loved the book. So many great reviews, so many emails. People called me with the ugly cry, thanking me for writing No More Flinching with 5 steps to overcoming adversity. People were telling me, you forgave your father for this. And here I am, I'm holding on to grudges. Girl, you just helped me. Because then they were able to go and forgive their family members for X, Y, Z, whatever was going on. So after that, then it became, I was, being flown around the country. And I'm talking about the United States of America, being flown here to there, sharing my story. And then, lo and behold, I walked on the journey of being a certified John Maxwell speaker, trainer, and coach. And so that came about, and then it was just level after level after level. And currently, right now, I'm working on my second book, and I believe it will be a sequel of a No More Flinching 2, which will be more so in my adult phase before I actually started the path of soaring. Because I went through a lot in my young adult years, like my early 20s. Oh my God, that's another book in itself to help people. And this the whole goal. The No More Flinching is to declare no more flinching, because there's so many people out there in abusive situations. So many children are being misused and abused. So many children are in and out of foster care, and they think that's it for their lives. They think that, they can never have the life that they dream to have. They think that they could never go to college, that they will never get accepted into college. They will never get the house, have the marriage. I mean, how do I know this? Because I used to be that child. I used to be that child that think nothing good would ever happen for me. And, when you're on the outside looking in, it's kind of like, really? But that's how it goes. When you are a foster child and you're being moved from home to home, you don't have that connective source to know, you don't have that support system. So you feel like an outsider. And a lot of those children get treated like outsiders. So the statistics, hey, they speak for themselves. By the time a child is aged out of foster care, they're either on the street, in drugs, in jail, or sometimes worse, or even committing suicide. So that's where somebody step in comes from. The nonprofit, it was all God inspired from my life, okay, because I lived it. The nonprofit Somebody Step In is a nonprofit that I started back in 2014 to let the kids know and let the adults know, because those kids grow up to be adults with the same problems they had when they were children, okay? And it's to let the adults know and let the children know, we are here for you. Okay, somebody step in. We are here for you, and we are a family unit to be with you for the rest of your life. So it's almost like a life coaching series. And now, shout out to everybody that's partnered with Somebody Step In. I have a slew of people who donate and volunteer their time. They volunteer their finances for Somebody Step In to make a good cause and impact around the globe when it comes to foster youth. So I'm super, super excited about where my life is taking me. I just decided to take one step and to keep going in the direction. It's a path that I don't see that's being treaded. So I'm not following the path of, many people are following. I am following the path that I feel that my spirit is leading me where God wants me to go to impact the lives of people and to impact the lives of children coming from where I come from, because I feel like that's needed. So I'm just happy to share. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you so much. I hope are you still there?
Maybe you didn't hear me. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I heard you loud and clear. And I got to tell you, the fact is, we get into these situations where we say somebody should do something. But what you did was you said, not somebody should just do something. I'm going to do something.
Right.
And then you took the steps that was necessary to get involved and be that voice, because like you said, foster care is a very interesting thing. I started out here in the DC DMV area as a board member for Foster Care Shines. Shout out to P. Irene and again Dr. Yolanda Lewis Ragland, because we were on the board together to make an impact with foster care. No more flinching. The word flinching itself gives you an impression of what that was all about. And you were able to say, I'm going to break the chains of this thing. And I'm going to now go and help empower other people, other young people, to break the chains. Tell me about that part of the journey and how you went from there to CEO to now owning multiple business. You're a serial entrepreneur. Talk about that, because young people think that it's the end when they're in foster care. And I know that, even like you said, most of them are on drugs. Some of them have children so they can get welfare because they can't find jobs. The system itself doesn't let them get their credentials early. They wait to the last minute to help them get their license, their ID, understand how to get an apartment, and how to get real employment, not just a job, but a career. So talk about those things, Carlotta, and how that impacted your organization.
Well, no more flinching in itself, like you said, the word flinching just gives you an idea. But the no more flinching, the flinching came about when I first wrote the book. I had it titled something else. It had a completely different title, and it was right before it went for publishing that it was like halt, and it just was one of those instant things. I said, no, this is not the title of my book. I needed something that was going to carry the book. So I thought about my life, and I thought about what is something that I used to do that I no longer do, that's something I'm free of right now in this very moment. Well, I remember oftentimes I was often hit in the face, punched in the face, receiving black eyes, busted eardrums, hit with boards, all about my body, kicked in the stomach. This is on a daily regimen. Every single day I was used to getting kicked, so I always flinch, and it was just a natural response. And not only did I flinch when someone was getting ready, or when that abuser in my family was getting ready to hit me, I would also flinch when strangers just raise their hand. If I'm in class and you're reaching for a pencil across my desk, I'm still flinching. So that was kind of like a form of PTSD. It took years. It took years, even when I was away from the abusive home, and I'm living my life. I was a young teenager in my teens, still flinching because it was a natural response. And it would embarrass the crap out of me. I would be so embarrassed. I would be so ashamed, because I was thinking, I know these people probably thinking, what's wrong with her? And so they didn't know that I was abused and I had experienced so much trauma. And that stayed with me. I'm talking about for years, okay? And it was one day, someone reached in my peripheral, and it wasn't until I started the healing process. It wasn't until I began the forgiveness process. It wasn't until I started lightening up my load and started dropping off some things that I no longer need to carry in my life for me to get where I needed to be. And one day I realized someone was in my peripheral strong, and I noticed the reaction of flinching that I had been doing all through my youth, all through my teenage years and early 20s. The reaction of me flinching as a natural response stopped. It ceased. And I was so excited. Okay. I was like, oh my God, I'm not flinching anymore. I'm like, I could have had a no more flinching party. You understand? And so when I wrote the book, I was like, okay, well, flinching. I used to flinch and I no longer do that anymore. And then I just played around with the words until I got that free. It's funny, Dwayne, that you spoke about breaking the chains, breaking the curses. Well, guess what? That's the actual picture of my book. Is about breaking the chains, generational curses. Okay, we're gonna go way back, because that's just how some people got treated. Me and my son, my oldest son, he's 15. His name is Ashton, and we were just recently talking about on Instagram about how kids are being raised as if they are the slaves to the parents, and some people actually have that mentality. And so that's how I grew up. And I'm so glad I didn't pass that down to my own children. However, No More Flinching, I wanted it to be impactful. So when a reader just read the title of my book, I wanted them to feel something and know that they were going to be going on a ride with this story and know that they were going to come out triumphant with me on the other side. And so it's all to inspire people. And it's equipped once again with 5 steps to overcoming adversity. And when you're talking about just life, this foster youth and what they can get by reading this book. I feel like even if you are not a part of the foster care system, even if you've never really experienced abuse to that magnitude, or even if you maybe experienced abuse to a further degree than what I've experienced, because all of our stories are important, right? I feel like you will get something. You will get something. You will be inspired by reading this book, especially those who have went through what I've been through or even worse. So they will know that they can thrive. They will know that they can survive. They will know that it's not the end all because they were in the system. They can find themselves. They can learn to forgive and become who they were destined to be.
Well, you have 5 particular pillars. Can you talk about 1 or 2 of them? I don't want you to tell all of them because I want people to buy the book, right? I want them to get into it. Maybe you can give them a little hint, but talk about the 5 pillars. Talk about these things that people can actually empower themselves with. Because like you said, a lot of people are waiting for something outside. And I teach, look, you got to look what's on the inside, because what's on the inside has already been deposited before you ever showed up. And it already knew that you were going to have adversity, but you got to be reminded of what's inside so that you can now empower yourself and move forward. Talk about how that happened with you and how you were able to take that and reshape your whole entire life. You know, everybody don't know how to use their mind to reshape their life. Talk about what you did to make that happen.
Well, uh, thank you again. And somebody is actually knocking. I don't know who that could be. However, I'm going to talk about maybe 1 or 2 of the steps, maybe three. But one of them is forgiveness. Forgiveness is very, 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 I could say very for an hour, very important. Because when you hold on to those things that happen and they will mess with your mind, it will have you pretty much you're in your own prison. Okay, you will be in your own prison for the most part. And I've seen it before where somebody say if you don't forgive somebody or holding grudges, it's kind of like you're drinking poison and waiting for somebody else to die or something like that. Well, you want to make sure that you are free. And even though it's kind of cliche to say this, but we must be the bigger person. We must be the example. So one of the best things that I could tell you is, one, outside of forgiveness, is you want to get it out. You got to tell somebody something. Like tell somebody, confide in someone you trust, or either confide in a counselor or confide in someone if you're the type of person to go to church and you have somebody or a close friend. As I said earlier, I shared first with my 2 high school friends. And so you want to get it off of you. If not, you're going to be carrying a weight around with you that's entirely too heavy. See, I've spoken. I've actually, when I have speaking engagements and I share my story, and at the end, you would be surprised. You would be amazed. I would have an 80-year-old person come up to me and they would tell me that, you know what, I experienced that when I was younger and I've never told anybody. I've been holding on and I just got to tell you what happened to me. And I would sit there and listen to them. And they finally get it out, but they've been holding on to this for so long. So it's very important to get it out and get it off of you. And it's very, very important to forgive. And the last one I'm going to give you is the last one, because I'm not going to give you all. You can get to the book with that, okay? But the last one I'm going to give you is that you have to watch the words that you speak. Words are very, very very, very powerful. And your energy is everything. So when we speak certain words, I used to be afraid. It's going to sound crazy, but I used to be afraid to speak positive. That was taboo to me because I was so used to doors being slammed in my face. I was so used to it will never happen for me, thinking that I was not good enough. Being told I was not good enough and I would be nothing when I got older. I believed that. So anything outside of that was taboo for me to feel like I can make it. It can happen for me. That was strange. That was weird. But I had to trick myself into knowing that, hey, it's weird to think opposite. I had to really focus on, I had to pinpoint and not allow certain things to come out of my mouth. I had to pinpoint and not allow my thoughts to think a certain way. I had to take control of that thing. And of course, forgive. Those were my top three. And of course, I have five. And I go in and I give you examples of my life where I actually walked this thing out. So I didn't just come up with five ways to overcome adversity. I am giving you five ways that I actually implemented in my own life to help you overcome adversity. So, yeah, I don't want to give it away too much, but definitely get the book.
Hey, so this is really cool because, you know, you talked really about this idea. Let me add this.
Okay, you're back. Okay, I see you. Okay, I'm gonna hold it down for you.
Because I've been taking myself out the way so I can hear you. I
Yeah.
really and I put myself on mute, but I'm back on mute. So here's the thing: the childhood trauma you talked about. So many of us don't really spend time in healing the child. The child gets brought along in our life, and that child is still dealing with some stuff from way back in the day. You said an 80-year-old woman came up to you in reference to this.
Mhm.
That's powerful. I know personally, I just had to go through something 2 years ago and just deal with a death of my mom that I dealt with when I was 8 years old. That been dragging it from one marriage to the next marriage, from one relationship to the next
Mm,
relationship, from one situation to the next situation. And it's been terrible that I've done that, but I didn't realize the power it had over me. Right.
yeah.
So let's talk about now you're on the other side of this thing. You put it into a business profile. You set up a nonprofit. You actually have another business to help people. You coaching them. You're a John Maxwell certified coach. That's a big deal, right? Getting coaching all over the world now. And then the fact that you are in a situation where not only are you just coaching, you're actually a mentor to young women and young men who are understanding that this is not right, that what they went through was wrong, but they don't have to become what it looks like. And when people look at you, I'm sure they say, "Oh my God, no, not you," right? Because they see what's the finish. They see it's not even finished because you're doing some other work, right? You take care of some business. I see you out there doing the walkie walk. You getting the walk on. You doing the exercise. You got the business.
Mhm.
You drinking the juice. You got all
That's
that going on. Talk about that and how you
it.
transform your life with what you're doing now.
Oh my goodness. Oh, we're gonna talk about total life changes. It is totally a life change. Okay, I'm super excited. I just gotta say shout out to my girl Diana Williams because like I happen to see a Facebook post. And listen, y'all, Facebook and social media is very powerful, okay? Because you can make so many major connections. By the way, that's how I met Dwayne. Social media, okay? So social media is very, very powerful. With me being a speaker and traveling all around the globe and traveling all around the nation, I started to get unhealthy. Like I was looking like a busted can of biscuits, okay? And I didn't, I
A
was,
busted can of biscuits.
well, listen, I was. Now I'm telling you, I was popping out of everywhere. Like that was not going to be it. So I knew I wanted to get my health together, and I was always interested in the CBD industry, right? And so I must have, grabbed onto a Facebook post, and then before long, it didn't take me long to make a conscious decision. Like within 24 hours, I was like, I'm in, okay? And my goodness, Jack Fallon, amazing, amazing founder. He came on with a dream to help people, help them be inspired, help them feel good about their bodies. Because listen, at the end of the day, we can have all the money in the world. We can have all the money in our bank accounts, and we can have the big house. We can have the fancy cars, but if we don't have our health, what do we have, right? And so I am so amazed. I'm just so honored to be with Total Life Changes. Shout out to Coach Stormy Wellington, the founder. and the visionary of 1,000 families. I'm so happy to be connected to that. And shout out to my amazing team, Red Sea Action. Listen, Rock, Dwayne, I have some amazing team members, okay? They hold me up. They're some awesome leaders. So I'm always looking for sharp entrepreneurs to partner with different things. But Total Life Changes is amazing. Within 7 months, I was able to be a six-figure ring earner with the company. No income claims. It's all hard work and ethic. Every single day, me and my crew, or me and my family, or even myself, solo dolo, will be out there walking, getting my 3 to 5 miles in, making sure I take my NutriBurst, I get my detox tea in, I get my CBD in when I can, whenever I need it, and all I do is share. So I'm always open and looking for brand ambassadors. All right. So if you would like to partner and have a conversation with me, let's talk. All you gotta do is hit me in my DM. I will be sure to reach out to you. So I am so excited. I didn't know we was gonna go to Total Life Changes today, but
Oh,
thank
oh
you for
yeah.
going there. Thank you for
Yeah,
going
we need to go there. So here's the other thing. So many people lost their jobs, right?
there.
And it's crazy that I'm talking to people that lose their job and I tell them, listen, here's some opportunity for you to create something, right? And they don't look at it as an opportunity. They look at it as work. And I'm
Mm,
like, no, what you're doing when you go to your job every day is work. But
mm-hmm,
that work is that seed that you're going to get. You're going to take that money from your job and it's seed. Then you take that seed and invest in yourself. And when you have a coach like you
mm,
that takes it personal for their own personal success, there's no reason for them not to have success. And look, you went from
oh,
0 to 6 figures in less than a year, not
oh yeah.
because you were just working hard. No, you were influencer. You
Mm,
influence their ways of being. You influence the types of decisions they're making. You influence the kind of choices they're making. So for them to join someone like you, they should just hook up to the goodness, to the greatness that is already being exuded from you. And I think that is so important. So people say, I don't know what to do. Well, if you don't know what to do, go find somebody that's doing something and connect to them. And
that's
then
it.
you'll know what to do. And then let God come through. And then next thing you know,
Yes. Well,
and I
here we
get more excited than them. And for what you don't have it's funny. I'll get into a real good space and everything is working fine, and all of a sudden I'll start having blips with the internet. I don't really care. I learned that I just keep pressing
go.
through. I just keep pressing through because I can't control that. It's out of my control. But what I can do is control my energy. Like you
Yes.
said, you bring energy. Total life changes. Somebody step in, flinching, they would think, wow, girl, you got all this going on. You're too busy. You don't got time for us. And you make time for each and every person on your team. Talk about what it takes to really be a CEO.
Mm. That's a really good question, Dwayne. You're asking some really good questions. Well, I feel like what it takes to be a good CEO is first and foremost, it's definitely personal development. That's going to be number one to me because anytime you're not working on yourself, anytime you are not stretching yourself, you are not growing. So, in my mindset, to me, how I operate is on the one hand, I am forever a student, I am forever learning. And then I go back and take that back to my team, right? And so, as I said, I am forever learning. I'm forever a student. I can learn from anybody, anywhere, child or adult. And then I turn around and I take that back to my team. And so, what it takes to be a good CEO is you have to lead from the front. You can't lead from the rear. And I got that from back when I was in the military. We ain't talk about that, but I was also in the military for 8 years, reserve, went to Fort Leonard Wood, basic training, okay, fall of 1998. Now, you have to separate yourself from the crowd. You can't say you are a leader. You can say it, but you're not a leader if you're going somewhere and nobody's following you, nobody's inspired, nobody's encouraged. You're not leading. You're just going for a walk, right? But when you are a leader, when you walk, your team walks with you, and that's what I just got to shout out my personal team, Risky Action, and the Players Club. I got to shout them out again because what I love about my key players and people who actually separate themselves from the pack in Risky Action, they are some phenomenal leaders. and we learn from each other. It's like iron sharpens iron, right? So self-development is number one. Self-development is number one. And then you want to make sure you also practice what you preach. Like, I'm not going to speak on or do a training on or have a hallelujah shout meeting about something that I'm not actually implementing myself. I'm going to be quiet. You get what I'm saying? So when I'm talking about something, it's something I actually do. Like when I say no days off, when I say do something every single day to move your business forward, that's how you get consistency in the game. You have to be consistent. And you have to be committed to yourself first of all. You know, those are some people. You know, we can do this all day, Dwayne, right here. Now
I'm trying to tell you.
you have my fear right now.
Listen. People be like, "Do you ever get any sleep?" I say, "Yes, I do." And when I get sleep, I sleep. And when I go hang out, I hang out. And when I go on vacation, I vacate. But when I'm working, man. And I'm working like on my business. I'm working on my job. I'm getting opportunities. I promoted 3 times in 4.5 years, 3 times on a huge level. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm starting a new corporation. So you're doing the same thing. You're taking what you've been given and you're using it and maximizing your moments. See, a lot of people don't maximize their moment. They minimize it because they don't want to do the work. They minimize it because they think it's supposed to be you. You're the leader. You're supposed to help me. No. I'm helping you by empowering you. I'm helping you by inspiring you. I'm helping you by giving you some tools. But you got to do the work. And people don't want to do the work.
All right now. Oh my goodness. You just started something right there. When you say it, I'm helping you by empowering you. You're so right. So you got different types of people. And you know, it's called the law of large numbers. The way I see it, I'm gonna connect with as many people as I can, but people come with a certain mindset. Some people come with a mindset that I just want something for nothing. I really want, as soon as I partner with you, I'm expecting for the money to just fall out the sky. Where is it at? Why it ain't here yet? I don't see the money in my bank account, but you ain't did nothing, you ain't did no work. Why are you expecting all of this to happen for you? You haven't put anything in it. And then you got people that come in and they have a mindset where I'm just going to do a little bit of something and I'm expecting a big, huge win. Okay, well, that don't even make sense because you only put your pinky toe in the water. You're not even fully engulfed yet, but you want everything to happen for you, right? And that's not cool. Then you have people who come in and say, listen, I know I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it spare time, part-time when I feel like it. And that's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay. Because I want millions of people in my organization. Come on, Red Sea Action. Millions of people who just want to come in and do it when they want to. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But then you have the people, the 1%ers or the 20%ers out of the 100, right? They want to come in and they say, I want to go all the way with you, coach. Let's go. What we doing? And I'm saying, let's go. And so, listen, you just got to watch the mindset. People have to really take a serious look at the fact that what am I willing to do? What am I willing to commit to get what I really want? And see, listen, it's the vehicle, ladies and gentlemen. Anything you're doing, sometimes, especially when it comes to like MLM, when it comes to TLC, you know, I love the company. I love the people I meet. I love the organization, from the founder to my sponsor to everybody, to my team, everybody. But it's also a vehicle to get me to where I want to go in life. And if it winds up changing my lifestyle, which it already is, you know, by the grace of God, I'm grateful. Then hey, guess what? That's the vehicle to get you where you want to go. But you have to do the work, like Dwayne just said. You know, people just want to say, you know, you're the leader, you're the coach. Now tell me what to do, what I need to do. You know, show me this, show me that. No, dig in and roll your sleeves up and do the work. It's out. We're being the example. The leaders are the example. So you just follow the example. That's what I love about TLC. It's just so, it's like a, you know, it's so 1, 2, 3. You don't have to come in and try to figure it out. Just fall in line, do what you need to do, and then you're well on your way.
All right. Listen, we are doing really well on time. We got a few more minutes, but if you had 3 things that you want to make sure that people really get, I know you shared a lot. You already gave us a lot of nuggets, but what's 3 things that they can take away right now and put into action right now? Like if they walk away from this live and they walk into and get their paper, what's 3 things they can do right away that would just change the game for them?
Okay, 1, be in the present moment. The present moment is a gift. Oftentimes, and I've learned this because of self-development, okay? Oftentimes, we are operating off of autopilot. It's called being asleep on the blue pill, right? We're operating off of autopilot and we are letting our subconscious just take full control of our lives. Ever just wind up driving and you're like, how did I get here? You're on autopilot. I don't even remember how I did this. It's like we're on this routine and we are not even in the present moment. The present moment is a gift for a reason, okay? So when we wake up and realize what we have and be grateful, okay? That's all about the present moment, cherishing what you have right now. All right, so one, be grateful and be in the present moment. Two, I would say start working on how to manifest the life you want. A lot of times, like I said, it ties to number one. We're just in autopilot and we're not really going after it. Go after it. Don't be afraid to dream. Don't be afraid to go after the life you want. It is not over. If you thought it was over, it is not. Every day that you get to open your eyes, you are here for a reason. And go. And this, my number three, will be go impact the lives of other people. That's where you're going to get your most best feeling in your life, when you can inspire others in whatever way you need to inspire them. Everybody's story is different. Tell your story. Everybody got one. But go out and inspire people. Help people in the areas that you've overcame in life. That's what it's for. Don't be afraid to share those stories. Okay? Don't be afraid to tell people how, hey, I made it. And you can too. Whatever it is that you've done, whatever it is, when you reach beyond the break of life or whatever that was for you, don't be afraid to share with other people, because you can change somebody else's life. You can help save somebody else's life just by sharing your story. So those would be my three things. Those would be my three things to help people to walk away, your takeaway for today. Because that's what I'm all about, all of those three things and more, obviously.
Well, listen, tell us. Tell them where you're going to be, how they're going to find you. Where's the best place to connect with Carlotta?
All right. So one, you can follow me on Facebook at Carlotta Taylor. You can follow me on Instagram at official Carlotta Taylor. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. And also you can go to www.carlottataylor.com and order my book called No More Flinching. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I am having a sale tomorrow, so be sure to follow me, because I'm going to be doing a buy three and get one free with my TLC products, amazing products. We'll have a talk, so we'll be talking tomorrow. All right, and I have a lot of other things coming up in store, and I also have a mastermind. We're going to be reading the Moses Code. The Moses Code starts on Tuesday at 12 o'clock noon Central Time. So if you would love to be a part of that, go ahead, come on, just reach out to me. You can DM me on any of my platforms. I will make sure that you get in the class and get registered, okay? So thank you so much. It was such an honor and pleasure to be on your platform today, Dwayne.
Hey, listen, I got one more thing, and I know I asked you for three things, but before we get off of here, we got like 2 minutes. There are single moms out there struggling to raise children in a way that this world and what's going on doesn't destroy their dreams. What would you say to them? Talk directly to them on what they can do in order to move their life forward.
Single mothers with children. I'm gonna go back to the time where I was a single mother with children. That used to be me back around 2014-ish. And I was a single mother with 3 kids. And I worked my main job, which was policing. I worked a part-time job at where was I at? Men's Fragrance at the mall. I also worked part-time jobs just doing security. I was on call. I was a property manager at the apartments. I mean, I was doing it all, trying to make ends meet to put a smile and keep a smile on my kids' face, right? So a few things I would tell you, okay? One, be mindful of the company you keep around your kids. Because oftentimes in a search for love, you can wind up being in a strange relationship, and you want to make sure that your kids are first, okay? But know that it's not over because you have children. And that all that bull about, you ain't gonna get married because you got kids. No, don't even worry about that, because who is for you is for you. All right. I am currently married with children, and that don't stop anything. It's all about who you are, the beautiful woman you are inside. Be that person. It is not too late. But make sure you are treading lightly. You want to make sure that your children are in a safe environment. You want to make sure that you are manifesting the life you want. Don't give up. There is something inside of you that you already know you need to tap into. You already know you might need to write that book. You already know you need to go and start that nonprofit or that organization or whatever it is, whatever your gift is, you need to be operating in that. So go ahead and start taking those steps, writing it down. Like I'm over here with notes over here, just in case I need to write something down. Pen and paper. Put it on paper. Write the vision. Make it plain. Come up with a plan and work your plan. Don't just be out talk. Back it up with action. Back it up with action. And once again, tap into who you really are. Know the power of your words. Okay, and operate in the present moment and spend time with your kids. Love your kids. Protect your children. Okay, because you are there for their protection as well. And so I would just say keep going. And if you need someone to talk to, reach out to me, because that's why I offer coaching, one-on-one coaching, and I offer mentorship. So I'm always here and available. But not, I'm not gonna say I'm always here and available. I would love to meet with you if you need someone to talk to. If you need guidance, reach out to me. Yeah, I don't mind, setting up a time on my calendar to help. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. And so just know that you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. But make sure we don't just be so lost in love that we are not protecting our young ones, because I've seen it too many times. Like being a child protection detective, I've seen often where the significant other, especially women, okay, the significant other of the women, kids, they're either misusing them, abusing them, and doing things. So we got to make sure we keep our eyes open and protect our kids, but at the same time, go and do what you are destined to do. Walk in your purpose. It's not too late. I started this journey back in 2014, and my children was, wait, how many years younger? 6 years younger than. I have a 12-year-old, a 15-year-old, and an 18-year-old. So mama been getting it, but they are so happy for me now because I'm no longer working for anybody. I work to inspire now in every area that I can. So they're like my cheerleaders. They're like, Mama, go. We'll be so proud of you. And you want your children saying the same thing about you. So always like be that example that you want your kids to be. And that's what I would say, Dwayne. I know I probably went a little bit over.
No, you did great. That's perfect. That is perfect. See, here's the thing. I rather have my guests talk. I want you to pour what you need to pour out so that people can get what they need, and then they move forward. So I want to say thank you so much for making yourself available. We tried to do it earlier in the process. You were busy. Then you had an opportunity. I asked you, hey, can I get this opportunity? You said yes. You're on a whole nother coast. I mean, you're in a whole nother time zone than I am. But you made time for me today. I want to say thank you very much. I say you guys reach out to Carlotta. She is the real deal. She's that person that in the middle of whatever you're going through, she's going to have a word for you, or she's going to help you find someone that will connect you to what you need. But I will say this. I have been talking to her now a little bit over a year, and not one word she's spoken that I have to doubt, because she is a woman of her word and she's a woman of action. So if you want somebody in your corner that's a woman of her word, a woman of action, this is the person that I think you should talk to. All right, Carlotta, thank you so much. I appreciate you. All kind of love going out to you, Mr. Franks as well. And y'all just keep doing what you're doing. People are paying attention.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you. Have a good one. All right, y'all. Listen, this is D-Ross, Dwayne-Ross from the book No More Crumbs from the Table, helping you discover your tag, your talent, your ability, your gift. Put your tag to work in the earth. I don't care what it is that you think that you can't make money with. There is somebody making money with that thing, no matter what it is. And whoever it is that I'm talking to right now, if you're not sure what to do, you got myself, you got Carlotta, you got other people that have been saying to you, all you got to do is show up. And I'm going to try to tell you that if you show up, we're going to show up. And when you show up and we show up together, there's magic 2 or 3 are gathered in the midst, there I am. That power happens. All right, we see you. Check it out. Like, share, subscribe, post, share, comment, whatever you need to do. I'll see you on the next page, the next post, the next YouTube video, or the next live. Take care, y'all. Have a great night. We'll see you.